Okay, my name is Chris Holt. I started the blog ScaleDown Windsor. Well, ScaleDown, I started about a year and a half ago. It was my personal, while I was working, it was the avenue for personal expression. I have a background in urban design and architecture, that type of thing, and I didn't feel like a lot of the things that were in my mind were being addressed. So I started ScaleDown, and it was just a cheap little free blogger blog, and I was writing quite consistently, and I found that people were starting to respond back. So there was actually more people out there who sort of thought the same way, and so from there we started recruiting more and more writers. So now we're sitting at 4 writers, and basically discuss the physical environment of the core of the city, alternative transportation, independent businesses, the arts and cultural scenes in Windsor. So that's basically the focus of our website, how we can improve the city of Windsor. I can give you one example of concrete change that we were a part of, and that's when the old Seagrave fire truck factory. There was a little bit of a background. It was listed. It wasn't designated, but it was listed on the city's inventory of heritage sites. And luckily, another blogger friend of ours who sits on the Heritage Committee notified us of the fact that it was being illegally torn down. And the newspaper, the mainstream press, did not make any sort of story out of it whatsoever. So the blogging community basically got together and wrote about this, wrote about the history of it, wrote about what makes it illegal, what they're doing, took pictures, took video, and we basically raised the red flag. And still, the day after, still no mainstream media showed any interest in it. And then once again, the bloggers got together and planned a vigil for the Windsor's lost heritage, and so we went down there, and then that started the ball rolling when it came to the mainstream media coming in. So I do know we had an effect there. I know we did really raise the issue of us losing our architectural heritage through that. And just as a blog operator, because I can see who visits the blog, and I can see it's my dog. I can see who visits the blog. I happen to know that the mainstream media does read. I see CBC, I see TVO, I see the Windsor Star in there, and the odd radio stations and television stations. So I do know that they check up on us. So they don't comment or anything. So I can only assume that it's to see what we're up to and to see if we have any stories that they could scoop off of us, maybe. Who knows? Yeah. Well, I have my personal beliefs, and we have one major daily newspaper, we have one major television network, local, and two major radio stations, and so of those, the CBC. So I think people really are starting to believe that there's more out there that isn't being addressed by the mainstream media, and face it, bloggers are out there in the city living their day-to-day lives within the city. There's hundreds of us everywhere. So if something happens, chances are we'll be the first to find out about it and write about it. We don't have editorial departments to go through. We don't have editors that are fixing our stuff. So it's more real. It's more raw. It's not as processed, I guess you would have to say. But so I think people look to us for stuff that the mainstream media is not covering, or even if they are covering, they only have a little bit of space or a 15-second clip. So it's that maybe not as in depth. Whereas us bloggers, we can put links to different articles that we use to. We could cite other sources. We could we can show examples of what everybody else is doing and why we should be doing that here in the city of Windsor. So I think they can get more information through us, better information through us, and just stuff that isn't being addressed by the mainstream media.